Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25, and we have a big one today. Underneath the lights at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina is the number 17 South Carolina Gamecocks playing host to the number 14 NC State Wolfpack, and what was a rematch from last year's TaxSlayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, where the Gamecocks were victorious. But it's a new season, it's a new venue, and it's a new conditions as it is pouring down rain here. As both these two teams come in 2-0, looking to start 3-0 and get a quality Power 4 win. We'll see who it will be, but it'll be the Gamecocks starting off with the football as we're underway. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. As taking the field will be the offense, and we'll highlight Juan Gallegos today, who is the top wide receiver coming into the season, but was kind of quiet through the first two games of the season. First play will be a throw, but it will be to the senior Vernon Ryder out wide for 8. As you can see, the stats for both quarterbacks, very comparable numbers this year. Second and 2 is a handoff to Keenan Todia, who had over 30 carries last week, but he meets J.J. Hillhouse, who's probably the best defensive lineman in NC State history at this point. Third and 10 on the bootleg. They cannot connect with Gallegos, and it's a 3 and out for South Carolina. And they'll get the football over to NC State, wearing their all-white uniforms today. They're led by halfback Dalvin Fontaine, the junior, who will line up next to quarterback Cortland Butler. They'll fake it to Fontaine on first down, and Butler will miss his target across the middle. Maybe a little slippery, the football. It is raining here in Columbia. Is on second and 10. Here's Dalvin Fontaine getting loose for 19. There's an injury on the field. It's left tackle Brian Rodriguez. Bring a man in motion here. It's on first and 10. They go play fake. Butler to his left. Will tuck in and run. He can run, by the way. He gets out of the pockets narrowly and picks up 8 on the ground. It's Cortland Butler last week. 7 carries, 54 yards in their win against Charlotte. Second and 2. Here's Fontaine with a nice carry as he has a good start to his ball game. Last week, 20 carries, 105 yards. Todia had 4 touchdowns and was SEC Offensive Player of the Week. First and 10, this is a quarterback draw, and Butler will pick up 6 as the run game work into perfection for NC State. Now some Wildcat here on second and 4. It's a pitch back over, and it's a pass actually, and it's going to work. Butler strikes deep for Emmanuel Bulaga. Touchdown, Wolfpack on some trickery, and NC State takes the first punch. It's 7-0. So South Carolina's second drive here at the 25, and it's going backwards. Nice tackle by Bart Talbot, the freshman. And now it's 3rd and 13 already for South Carolina. A blitz for NC State. Brock wants the deep ball, but this one's incomplete. Somehow Iosifas Sammy doesn't make the interception. One of the best defensive backs in the ACC. And South Carolina goes and punts it again. So it's been all NC State early in this one as they're at midfield here. There's a 7-yard carry for Dalvin Fontaine. 3 for 34 in the early going for him. Second and 3, they go back to him on the counter, but this time he will be wrapped up quickly. And it's now 3rd down for the Wolfpack. And it's going to be 3rd down and a little bit more as there's a false start against NC State. The right side of the line moves, so instead of 3rd and 3, it'll be 3rd and 8. As Butler will be going to the air now, wants the right side, and he's intercepted. Picked off by the sophomore Miles Filipovic for the 2nd straight week. He has an interception. That's a big turnover for the Gamecocks. Gives them a little bit of momentum here as they're at about midfield, where they quickly face 3rd and 8. Brock to throw for it here. Stays in the pocket. Fires across the middle. And he's got Vernon Ryder. And Ryder somehow gets away from the defense, and he's going to score. 54 yards for the senior Vernon Ryder, getting a significant playing time for the first time in 2 seasons. And he cashes in here. It's all knotted up at 7 apiece. Next drive for NC State. It's now 3rd and 10. As Butler to the air will roll to his left, and he's going to meet a sack. Andy Everett's leading the way. Caleb Cottrell there as well. And you can feel the momentum switching to South Carolina. They get the next drive. They're already at the 31 of NC State after a not-so-good punt. As Brock will keep it this time, and he picks up 7. We've seen the initiative to get Brock moving a little bit more as he keeps on the next play as well and picks up a first down. He's got 2 carries for 13 yards now. Next play, he actually does hand it off to Keenan Todia, who gets 3. He's been bottled up for a good portion of today. Second and 7 now. Brock making some changes at the line as he wants to throw it, and he finds Beck for first down as Derek Beck with his second grab of the day. Goal to go now here for South Carolina. They try to punch it in with Keenan Todia, who did this well last week. He falls forward to the 2, and he's finally in plus yardage. Second and goal now. Handoff. This is Barry Goodman, the other freshman halfback, and he gets bottled up quickly. And now it's third and goal from the 2. We go Wildcat of our own. It's a pitch to Goodman, and he's going to find the edge for a touchdown. South Carolina takes their first lead of the ball game. It's 14-7. Ever since that interception thrown by Butler, the momentum has changed. First and 10 here for NC State. I think they wanted that reverse pass again, but Andy Everett too fast. Gets in the backfield, shuts it down. Second and 15, throw left side. This one's intercepted as well. Torrey Perkins, the senior linebacker, with it. And now South Carolina set up in the red zone off of the second INT of the day for Butler. Quickly, though, it's third and 10 as Brock wants the short pass, and he's going to find his man. And it'll be a field goal, and South Carolina now leads by 2 scores, 17-7, as we entered the second quarter. And that's not a good run, as that's a loss of 1. Andy Everett's had a good start to his day. He's on third and 10 now. This one's short. Good fight, but they won't get there. It's going to be a punt for NC State. South Carolina full control now. As here they are from their own 29, but a good defensive play by Philip Hart outside. Brings him down for a tackle for a loss. Now third and 11 for the Gamecocks. Brock to throw. Steps up. He gets hit from behind by Hillhouse. That one's incomplete. Both defenses starting to settle in here as we get into the second quarter. First and 10 from the 41 of South Carolina. This is a good mid-screen to Trent Weldon, who started his career at Tennessee and now finds his way at NC State. Second and 2 now. Handoff for Fontaine, who gets the edge. Beautiful blocking on the outside by Weldon. Springs him to the 13 for a gain of 20. And NC State's actually going to hit the hurry-up button off of that big-time play. They go bubble screen, but this time they go backwards. James Eskridge reads it to perfection. It's a loss of 2. Now third and 12. Butler to the air. 4-man rush, but it gets home. Cottrell leads the way. Every Gamecock in the backfield, and NC State will kick 3. It's now 17-10. Next try here for South Carolina. They try to reverse their own, trying to get it into Gallegos' hands, but there's no space. Good discipline there by NC State. Now play fake here. Brock throws it short, has Cribbs, and a diving effort comes up short. It's a huge run for Danny Cribbs, the tight end, but it's not going to count. Holding on right guard Kevin Fine will erase this play and move the Gamecocks back. Now third and 24 after a negative run from the 6. Brock drops back, wants to tuck it. He loses the football and is picked up by NC State. Brock fumbles on his own goal line. That was an absolute gift to the Wolfpack. They're at the 3-yard line. A huge mistake from Brock. It's his second fumble in second week in a row. It sets up NC State nicely. Now second and goal from the 1. It's a goal line formation, and it's a dive into the end zone for Fontaine for his second touchdown of the season. Now we're back tied up at 17 apiece. So how will the Gamecocks respond? Now second and 8. They try to set up a screen for Todia, and he will not get there. Brought down by impact linebacker Doug Wilbur. Now it's a third and 1 for the Gamecocks. They come out of the pistol, hand it off for Todia, and he will not get there. Wilbur leads the way. The rushing attack has been almost non-existent today. Now NC State seems like they had the momentum. First and 10 from their own 45. Butler to throw for it. Looks right side as a man wide open as we've reached the 2-minute warning, by the way. So Steve Boyette will step out of bounds to stop the clock at the 26 of South Carolina. Now an empty set. Over the middle, wide open. This is the tight end, Emmanuel Boyko, someone we actually tried to recruit a couple years ago. He's never really come into his own here in NC State, but, you know, good for him for getting that big catch. Next play will be a touchdown as this one across the middle is a score for Emmanuel Balaga for the second time today. And NC State back out in front 24-17. They gave South Carolina about a minute. We'll see what they can do with it with all 3 timeouts. There's a quick 7-yard strike to Danny Cribbs. They're not going to use one here. They hurry back to the line. It's a bootleg for Brock, who fires, has Darian Beck coming across the field, and the speedster will get out to the 44. True freshman with his 3rd grab of the day. First and 10 from the 44. It's a big blitz. They counter with a short throw to Cribbs, and he will get out of bounds with ease. Brock at 166 now on the evening. 45 seconds left to go. Brock wants it all here, looking for a Gallegos, but it's swatted away. Good defense by the junior safety, Anthony Schuler. Now 42 seconds on the clock. Brock to throw for it again. Just looks short. This is the backup tight end, Bond. And Bond actually picks up a first down. Good speed out there to get out of bounds as well. Stop the clock with 36 seconds. Brock now will roll out and will just take a hit, but it's going to be a holding anyway on already Big Hill. So that's going to be a -10 for South Carolina. Now 1st and 20 from the 29-yard line. Bunch to the right. Brock drops back to throw. Fires and actually gets hit as he throws. Not a lot of pressure. Not a lot of good offensive line protection so far today. NC State's dominated the line of scrimmage. Well, 2nd and 20. It's a crossing pattern for Bradshaw getting a rare catch. And South Carolina will use timeout number 1. 18 seconds left to go now. Brock wants to tuck in and run. Has a man open, but he doesn't see him. And he's tackled out of bounds at the 13. It's going to be a field goal try for Marquise Atogwe, who has not missed thus far this season. 30 yards from the left hash is up and good, and it'll be a 24-20 game as we go into the intermission. Good back-and-forth contest, but the Wolfpack seem to have won the second half of the second quarter, and now lead by 4 thanks to the run effort by Dalvin Fontaine. And they start off with the football, so a chance for NC State to do a little bit more damage here as we get into this one. They'll start off their own 25-yard line after a touchback, as it'll be a handoff to Fontaine, and this time the Gamecocks are ready for it. Nice job by Eskridge and company to bring him down. John Telfort as well. 2nd and 10 now, spreading out the defense. They'll hand it off to Fontaine, and Eskridge is there again to bottle him up. Only picks up 2, and now it's a big 3rd and 8 for NC State, as Butler will be forced to throw for it. Looks across the middle, and this one's broken up. Good defense by Perkins. It's a 3 and out for NC State. It's just what South Carolina needed, but unfortunately the run game will continue to not work. Dante Theis, a North Carolina transfer, with the stop. 2nd and 10. Now they want the mid-screen, but good hands, and that one's incomplete. It's a 3rd and 10 now here for South Carolina. They'll try the screen again. This time the halfback screen for Todia, and he will win the foot race to the marker, and that'll keep the drive alive. Brock 18 for 27, 198 yards today. Next play, this one's thrown out wide, and it's intercepted. Floated for Philip Hart to take this one to the house. A pick 6, the worst mistake Brock could have made in that scenario, because there's a holding as well, so the play wasn't even going to count. Brock just lobs it up for Hart, and he takes it to the house. First interception of the season for Brock. Couldn't come at a worse time, and now they're down by 11. The largest lead for NC State today, and they got to do it all over again. Then they're going backwards. 8-yard sack for J.J. Hillhouse, the career sack leader now for NC State after breaking Bradley Chubb's record. 3rd and 19. It's a deep ball for Gallegos, who gets behind the defense, and this will certainly help. 85 yards to the house, and at least the interception is erased pretty quickly thanks to the strike from Gallegos. Not sure how he got behind the defense there. South Carolina will go for 2 to try to make it a 3-point game. There's nowhere to go for Todia, so it'll stay 31-26. The next drive here for NC State. It's been a while since their offense has been on the field, as this start off by going backwards. Nice play again, James Eskridge, his 2nd tackle for a loss. 2nd and 12 now, handoff. No, it's a play fake, and it's going to be a sack. Caleb Cottrell's not faked. I was, but he certainly wasn't. 3rd sack on the day for South Carolina. Now makes it 3rd and 18. Butler wants the deep ball, and he's intercepted for the 3rd time today. Picked off by the freshman Muhammad Ha. Is now the starter at free safety after Danny Kaufman graduated. His first career interception for the former 3-star from Moultrie, Georgia. South Carolina now in NC State territory. They quickly reach 3rd down, though, and they will not get the first, as that'll be 2 yards shy. But 4th and 2, they're going to go for it here. Getting a little aggressive is Coach Rob. From the 22, you're in field goal range, but they want to get more. Brock to throw for it. Looks short, has a tough grab for Gallegos, who holds on. It's a big-time catch for the sophomore. Keeps the drive alive. Now to the 16. It's a handoff for Todia, and there's nowhere to go again. NC State bottling them up today. Only 10 carries for 11 yards for Keenan Todia. So 2nd and 8. Brock will, of course, go back to the air. He looks short. This is Gallegos with another tough grab. And a 1st down. 5 catches, 105 yards, and a touch for the sophomore. Now it's goal to go from the 5. They try Todia again, and he gets upended to the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal now. Bunch to the right. Brock under center will just try to toss it to Todia, just trying a different look, and it won't work again. NC State gets outside, and now it's 3rd and goal from the 2. They try Goodman this time, and Barry Goodman will find the end zone finally for a touchdown as South Carolina gets their first lead of the second half. It's 32-31. They're going to try to go for 2 again, and it's going to be intercepted, but this will not count on the stat sheet. South Carolina leads by a point. 4 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Butler at his own 47, motions out the halfback, throws it that way for Fontaine. He's got a couple blockers, but good rally, and he puts the football on the ground, but it's picked up by Stephen Allen, the left guard. That was danger avoided for NC State. 2nd and 4 now. Right tackle handoff for Fontaine, and he's going to be going backwards. Nice tackle there by Jaleel Griggs, the former 5-star corner, now as a sophomore. 3rd and 7. Butler wants the deep ball, and this one's off the hands of the receiver. Well, then had it's incomplete, and it's going to be a punt as we'll head to the 4th quarter. South Carolina up by 1 in what's been a very much a tug-of-war game. Both teams have had the lead. Both teams have lost the lead. But right now, South Carolina up by 1 at midfield to begin the 4th quarter. Brock to throw, starting this frame. Actually wants to tuck in and run, and only gets 1 before brought down quickly. 2nd and 9. Trying to set up a screen for Todia, who gets outside, and he will get the first down. Gain of 12. Now we enter the enemy territory. Brock making some adjustments here. He wants the quick throw. NC State stacks the box, so he trusts the one-on-one with Gallegos, who's been great today. Good call there by Brock. 2nd and 5. Now getting him outside the pocket again, but good coverage from NC State this time. Doesn't allow the bootleg to work. Now it's a big 3rd and 5. Gamecocks go with the draw, and they catch NC State sleeping. The run game has not worked today. The last play you expect them to run it on 3rd and medium is a draw, and it works out. Fortunately, the run game will not stay as there's a loss of 3 for Barry Goodman. Tayshawn King shoots the gap. And now it's 3rd and 9 for South Carolina. Brock rolls to his right. Nobody on this side of the field, so he just dumps it to the sideline. South Carolina will kick the 3. And they're up by 4 now, 35-31. Big drive here for NC State, and a big run for Fontaine off the right tackle, but there might have been a reason, because this one's coming back. Holding on left guard Stephen Allen will erase this play. Now 3rd and 15 for NC State. Butler in the pocket, rolls out to his right, and he's going to slide down, and that's going to be a punt forced. Good job by the defense. Inside 7 minutes, South Carolina in enemy territory, just kind of got to play the clock here. However, it's not going to be the defense or the offensive run game that works because the defense at NC State has been great in the run game. 2nd and 13. Brock outside the pocket has a man open, but he just takes it himself and picks up the first down. Didn't want to bother throwing it there. 10 carries, 27 for Brock. Clock continues to tick, by the way, at the 20. As Brock will keep this one himself, and he'll get 9 more on the ground. 2nd and 1 now. Brock with the handoff, and Todia is quickly wrapped up. That's J.J. Hillhouse again. He has been living in our backfield today. 3rd and 4, they try Todia again, and he's not going to get there. Brought down 2 yards shy. It's another field goal, but it's still only a 1-possession game. 3 minutes to go. NC State just needs a touchdown. It was on 2nd and 1. Butler's looking to do that here. He gets outside, and he's going to go 70 yards on the ground for a touchdown. And NC State has tied this one up at 38. At the 2-minute warning, South Carolina, though, does have the football, so they control the game here. 1st and 10 from the 48. Short pass. This is Deacon Hadrulahi with his first ever grab, and he breaks a tackle, and he's out past the 20. Big time catch and run for Deacon Hadrulahi, the true freshman wide receiver. And now South Carolina enters the red zone. 1st and 10. That one's going backwards. They would also get nothing on the 2nd carry, and now it's 3rd and 14, and they're just going to hand it off again and just force NC State to use the timeouts. So we'll take the field goal here, it looks like. It's a 37-yard try for a Togway, and it'll be up and through. So it's South Carolina up by 3, but now NC State has a chance to go get points. They got a minute and no timeouts, their own 15. Butler will start short. He finds Balaga, and he gains 7. They will hurry back to the line, and it looks like they're just looking to clock it here, and they will with 51 seconds. 3rd and 3 now. Butler to throw again, and he's quickly going to be sacked up the middle. That's Angel Casey in the backfield. And now 4th and 9. This is the game. NC State will hurry back, and South Carolina will burn a timeout. They want the perfect defensive call here on 4th and 9. So the game on the line here. Butler motions out the halfback. And he's going to throw it deep down the left sideline. And this one's caught. Bulaga gets away from the defender, and he's going to go the distance. No. How does that happen? All you have to do is knock down the football, and you win the game, and they go and score the touchdown. Why does this stuff always happen to this team, man? 32 seconds. NC State takes a 4-point lead, and now South Carolina only has 2 timeouts, and they have to score a touchdown. NC State, conservative defense, and that one's almost ended right there as it's almost picked off by the former walk-on Duke Chick. So now 28 seconds. NC State continues with soft coverage here. As on 2nd and 10, Brock just takes what he has short. Todia will get out of bounds, but there's only 22 seconds. 3rd and 7 now. Brock at his own 28. He'll look left side, has Darren Beck down the sideline, and Beck's got some speed. He's got some running room. It's a foot race. Go, Beck, go, and he will complete the touchdown. We just did it. Darren Beck, the true freshman from Indian Trail, North Carolina, with the touchdown from his own side of the field. That 99 speed comes in clutch, and now South Carolina has a lead out of nowhere. 48-45. NC State has 7 seconds. This place is rocking here at Columbia, South Carolina, game to speak. Is on 1st and 10. Here's a deep ball, and this one's knocked away. See, Chauncey Parkey knows how to at least deflect passes. 1 second left on the clock, so this is the last play of the game. We have lost on a last-second Hail Mary before. I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up. South Carolina backs off the secondary as they float this one towards the sideline, and it's actually intercepted by Chauncey Parkey, but there's zeros on the clock, and that will do it. South Carolina wins this one 48-45 in an all-time classic here in Columbia, South Carolina on prime time. I cannot believe South Carolina won this game. I also can't believe they almost lost this game. This was the game that probably gave me like 10 heart attacks in this game, but somehow South Carolina is the victors. What a game this was, man. Now, I say I almost had 10 heart attacks. I'm not lying. This game was insane. But South Carolina wins. It wasn't pretty. We gave them every opportunity to win this game. Fumbling on our own goal line. The pick six. I panicked and I barely tapped the circle button. And Brock decided to lob that to Philip Hart because of that. I thought the game was over there, but thankfully we were able to get a quick touchdown, and we never were out of the fight and somehow won this game. Shout out to Darren Beck as well. And that corner, man, I don't even remember who it was. All you have to do is knock the football down, and you win the game. I really thought it was over on that play. I was devastated. But we win the game, and Caleb Cottrell gets SEC Defensive Player of the Week. And here are other top stories coming out of week number 3. There's the Heisman race. A lot of Tigers at the top. Sooners lose to Nebraska. The Cornhuskers get it done at home. And then UTSA goes to Texas and wins 38-28. A huge win for the Roadrunners. That's the upset of the season thus far. Georgia beats Ohio State in the biggest game of the week. We'll take a look at the scores. Starting off on Wednesday, Boise State with a victory over Houston. We'll see Northwestern knock off Tulane, their first loss of the season. Oregon wins the battle against Oregon State 35-3. East Carolina bounces back with a victory against Old Dominion, and Arizona State gets their first victory beating LSU. TCU knocks off Purdue in non-conference play. FAU beats their rival in FIU by a touchdown. Notre Dame dominates Alabama 41-13. Fresno State squeaks by Kansas at home. And then Mississippi State knocks off Southern Miss. Texas A&M with a victory over SMU. The Aggies undefeated thus far. Western Michigan beats New Mexico, and then we see West Virginia get a road victory against Kent State. Texas Tech beats Arkansas by a point, a big win for the Red Raiders. And then your game of the week, it was Georgia, who did beat Ohio State 28-21. Florida takes out UCF in state. Wake Forest goes down to Atlanta and beats Georgia State. Rice with a victory over San Jose State. They're now up to number 21. And then UTSA knocked off Texas, a huge win for the Roadrunners again. Northern Illinois against Middle Tennessee State, they win, and then Oklahoma State wins the Turnpike Classic by 2 points. Louisiana over Eastern Michigan. Western Kentucky gets a big win against Utah. Remember the runners-up from last year? They beat the Utes, who have not started off that good this season. We see Liberty gets a Conference USA victory over Kennesaw State. Wisconsin gets a Big Ten victory over USC. Kentucky, we'll see in 2 weeks. They beat Georgia Tech, and then UAB gets an in-state victory against South Alabama. Missouri takes care of North Texas. Maryland over Duke, 35-29. Nebraska does get the victory against Oklahoma. Washington wins the Apple Cup this year, 36-29 over Wazoo. And then Illinois over Arkansas State. Kansas State knocks off Rutgers. I knew the Rutgers Scarlet Knights were a little overrated this season. They start off 0-2. Iowa State dominates UNLV. Bowling Green hangs 56 on Temple. Jeez. San Diego State beats Buffalo comfortably. Miami, Ohio beats the rivals in Cincinnati. That's not a good look for the Bearcats. Air Force narrowly escapes Colorado State to bring home the trophy, and then Toledo gets a road victory over UTEP. Charlotte takes down Appalachian State. The Mountaineers' momentum comes to a screeching halt with this loss to their rival. And then we see UConn knock off Louisiana Tech by a point. Virginia Tech over BYU to stay undefeated. Louisiana Monroe takes care of Central Michigan, and then Miami beats Marshall on the road. Here are your players of the week. J.J. Hillhouse, who lived in our backfield, gets Defensive Player of the Week, while Joel Iannaccio of Arkansas will get it, which means we know the SEC Players of the Week now, Cottrell and Iannaccio of Arkansas. Here's your new top 25. We move up 4 spots to number 13 with our big win against NC State. Texas, the big losers this week, as well as Oklahoma. NC State will fall to number 19, but good win for us. Clemson, you can see, has also re-entered the rankings. Here are your big games in week number 4. Rice will have their first test of the season. It was a little trial to face number 6 Miami to see if they're legit. Number 4 Washington will go to Penn State. Missouri will play host to number 14 Texas, who are definitely going to be mad about that one. And then Ole Miss will play host to number 3 Michigan. We don't have a game this week. We are off, but instead of dedicating whole episodes to an early season bye week, we're going to go ahead and go through week 4 as well. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. So let's go ahead and simulate the week. And we do, and we get our first recruit of the season. It's going to be 5-star tight end Ty Stokes from Chester High School in Chester, South Carolina, commits to the program. So even though we get a 5-star, though, he's not the best 5-star. He's a blocking tight end who's a bust. So kind of unfortunate, but it's always good to get 5 stars for your program's, sort of image. So we'll find a way to work Ty Stokes in, but it's not like this super exciting sort of recruit. Washington will play Oregon this week in a big game, and then we'll see Auburn lose to Temple at home. The defending national champions go down to an Owls team that just got beat and gave up 56 to Bowling Green. College football is a weird sport. Ole Miss does beat Michigan in one of the highlight games, and then Penn State beats Washington. So a couple of upsets this week. Here are the scores from week 4. Oklahoma hangs 52 on Vanderbilt to start SEC play. Texas Tech gets their second straight big victory. They beat rival Oklahoma State. LSU back in the win column. They beat Utah, so not a good couple of weeks for the Utes. Louisiana Monroe beats their in-state rivals in Louisiana Tech. Missouri beats Texas, though the Tigers might be back, and that's 2 straight losses for the Longhorns, who are still somehow ranked ahead of Missouri. Virginia Tech enters the rankings. They beat Old Dominion. Liberty puts up 52 on Ball State. Tulane gets back in the win column and back into the rankings by beating Virginia. USC gets their first Big Ten victory of the season over Minnesota. Ole Miss takes care of Michigan. We saw that 38-17. Eastern Michigan knocks off Kennesaw State. Wisconsin gets another victory against Northern Illinois. SMU back in the win column after losing to Texas A&M. They beat Ohio. Notre Dame beats Boston College 26-14. Fighting Irish 5-0 start for them. Akron beats Clemson. You love to see it. Go Zips. That's hilarious. South Florida gets an AAC victory over Navy. And then we see Wake Forest take care of their in-state rivals, the Tar Heels. Tennessee gets a win against TCU. That's a big win. I don't know if the Vols are back, but at least it rightens the ship. UAB is undefeated. They beat Georgia State this week. Charlotte knocks off Mississippi State. That's a big win for the 49ers. Penn State only beat Washington by 2. It was a close game. Syracuse puts up 52 on North Texas. I feel so bad for the Mean Green. Their season could be so much better if they just had their starting quarterback. On game day, Miami squashed Rice 59-7, so I think the Owls are a little overrated. UConn does beat FIU as well. Oregon State gets their first win of the season against their former Pac-12 rival in Stanford. And then Temple did beat Auburn 35-31. It was in Philly, but the Tigers go down. Arizona beats NC State. Boise State gets a Pac-12 victory over Air Force to round out the week. Here are your players of the week. Bryce Dalton of Rutgers had 5 sacks in their victory. Then Connor Budd of Minnesota had 5 catches, 181 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the loss. Your SEC players of the week are Dalton Stick of Auburn and Derek Birmingham of Florida. So obviously there's going to be some shakeup to the top 25. The new number 1 team is Georgia, starting off 3-0. And how about UCLA being number 2? Because number 1 and number 3 went down this week, and we move up to number 9. So we were idle, and we're able to move up 4 spots thanks to a couple of key losses in the top 5, as the top 25 get a major shakeup this week. The big games going into week number 5, you got number 15 Washington, number 5 Oregon, 6 Wisconsin will go to number 17 Nebraska. The new number 1 Georgia will play host to a red-hot 24-ranked Missouri Tiger squad, and then we will go on the road to face number 14 Kentucky in one of the premier games of the week as we start SEC play this season. And we have a tough SEC schedule, and it's going to start immediately against number 14 Kentucky. 9 versus 14, one of the highlight games of the week. Kentucky's been a very interesting team to face in this series. We've been pretty back and forth with the Wildcats. We've beaten them, they've beaten us. So this is a pretty big game for us, as it also sets the tone of how we're going to do against SEC play. So we got through non-conference play. We're ranked number 9. Let's try to keep that momentum, and let's get this team to the SEC Championship game. I keep harping on that. But the way to get there is you got to win games like this. You got to go into hostile territory and win, and we'll see that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a long one as we're over the 30-minute mark, but I hope you guys enjoyed. What a classic game as well, by the way. If you are enjoying the content and you have not already, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.